So this is the big one, the Coke versus the Pepsi of the writing world. When I was drafting one epic year, this question kept me up at night. Should I get a traditional book deal, or query at the very least? Or should I go my own path? It's the same thing every writer asks themselves. We all have that dream of seeing our book in stores with a little publisher logo on the spine. But at the same time, particularly over recent years, we've seen that self-publishing itself can be not just possible, but powerful. But which path is right? The answer, and this is going to piss a lot of people off, is it depends. Not just on your own book, but on your own personality, on your own goals, and what trade-offs you're prepared to make. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the real differences between traditional and self-publishing. We're talking money, control, speed, and a fuckload more. I'll share why I chose self-publishing over traditional, and the reality is that I've seen from friends who went the traditional route. And by the end, you'll know which side of the fence you'll want to sit on. The two publishing models explained. So let's start with a quick overview. Traditional publishing is the classic route. You query agents. If one signs you, they will then shop your manuscript around to publishing houses. If a publisher accepts, you sign a contract. They will then handle all of the editing, the cover, and the distribution. Sometimes, and this is only really for established celebrities or already known authors, you'll get an advance, which is basically a loan versus your future earnings. And then you'll probably get around about 10 to 15% royalties for every book sold thereafter. Now, self-publishing is the DIY route, but don't let that fool you. You take full responsibility. You hire the editors, you find the designers, you format the thing, and you upload it. But you keep all the rights, you keep total control, and you earn up to 70% royalties per ebook. Both produce real books, both can lead to success, but the experiences, they are worlds apart. So the myth versus the reality. There's a lot of debate based on myths that frankly need to go in the bin. So let's bust a few right now. The myth is traditional publishing guarantees that you'll be on bookshelves. The reality, unless you're one of their top titles, your shelf life is going to be tiny and distribution will be quite limited. Another myth is self-publishing means less quality. That's bullshit. Many indie books today are indistinguishable from traditionally published ones. If you do the work, the quality is there. Another myth is that publishers do all of the marketing. And that's the biggest load of bullshit out there, because unless you're a celebrity, you'll be doing most of the heavy lifting yourself regardless. I actually went into a few more myths in a previous video, so be sure to subscribe and check out that. So control, who owns the vision? And this is usually a deal breaker for a lot of people. You see, with traditional publishing, once you sign that contract, the publisher has the final say. The cover, the title, the edits, even the release date. You may hate the cover that they pick, but you're going to be stuck with it. You may be told to cut a character that you love because marketing told you that it doesn't fit the trend. With self-publishing, you're the boss. The cover, the blurb, the price, the date, it's all your call. My experience with One Epic Year, I knew a traditional publishing house would have tried to have simplified it. A trilogy blending sci-fi, horror, comedy, spy thriller, Christmas films. They would have told me to pick a lane and stick to it. By going indie, I kept the story exactly how I wanted it to go. So if creative control is the hill that you want to die on, self-publishing wins. If you're happy to compromise and learn, traditional could work. Money versus royalties. So let's talk about the money side of things. Traditional publishing You might get an advance if you're already established or they just really love your manuscript. But if you're just starting out, it's going to be very small if it's there at all. But your royalties are going to be low. If you're very, very lucky, you're going to be looking at £1 to £1.50 per book sold. And if you did get an advance, you won't be seeing a penny of that until that advance is paid back first. With self-publishing, there is no advance. You're starting at zero, but the royalties are far higher. I set my own pricing structure. So for each book, I was making around about £5 per book sale. And you start earning from your very first sale as well. So traditional gives you that upfront security if the advance is decent. But self-publishing, it gives you much higher long-term earning potential, providing you put the effort into it. Now, before we get into the speed and distribution side of things, if you're finding this breakdown useful, do me a favor and give this video a like. And I'm going to have more videos coming up in the future, breaking down some more stuff about self-publishing using my own experiences and things that I've learned along the way. So make sure that you subscribe so that you don't miss a video when that comes out. Speed and the time to market. With traditional publishing, the process is slow. Querying and actually signing could take years. Even after you're signed, it can be another 18 to 24 months before you actually see your book on any shelf. With self-publishing, you decide the timeline. You could upload today, go live in a few days, and that's it. When I published One Epic Year, the whole trilogy, I published book 1 in April 2025, book 2 in May 2025, and book 3 in June 2025. I controlled the release schedule. A traditional publishing house would never allow me to do that kind of timeline. And for me, keeping that kind of momentum going was incredibly important for the release of this particular trilogy. So as distribution, where will your book be sold? You see, with traditional publishing, they have an in with all the bookstores. They can get you into Waterstones or airport shops. If you want to see your book while you're waiting for a flight, this is the way to do it. With self-publishing, online is easy. You've got Amazon, you've got Kobo, Apple Books. You're everywhere instantly. But getting into national chains, that's much, much harder. I can get my book into local indie bookstores, but going after the big boys, that is a tough nut to crack. If the high street dream is your main goal, then traditional has the edge. If global online reach is enough for you, self-publishing is going to be plenty. So marketing, who does the work? I touched on this very briefly earlier, but it does deserve its own section of the video. Traditional publishing, they have budgets, but they focus on the lead titles, the big hits, the established authors, the celebrities bringing out an autobiography just in time for Christmas. If you aren't the star of the season, then you're basically on your own with a Twitter account and a prayer. With self-publishing, you are the entire marketing department, period. It's all on you. My experience with One Epic Year, I built every single part of the One Epic Year marketing campaign. The reels, the A+ content, the email list. A traditional publisher may have sent out a press release for this wacky new book, but 90% of the work would have still fallen on my shoulders. So frankly, you're going to be working your ass off either way. Self-publishing just forces you to learn how to do it properly from day one. And then there's career trajectory. Which path builds more? So traditional publishing, it brings prestige, it brings awards, it builds a brand in the eyes of the industry. But your career depends on someone else renewing your contract. Self-publishing, it builds slowly, but you own the assets. You can experiment, you can pivot, or you can re-release whenever you want to. You are building independence. So who should choose traditional publishing? Traditional publishing might be for you if you want the validation of a pro saying that you're good. It could be for you if you really want to see your book in high street shops. It could be for you if you're okay waiting a few years to see your stuff go live. And it could be for you if you'd rather hand off the design and production to other staff. And who should choose the self-publishing route? Self-publishing will be for you if you want total creative control. If you're willing to treat writing like a business, it will be for you if you want higher royalties instead of an advance. And self-publishing will be for you if you want to publish now and release multiple titles throughout the year. Now, there is a third option, and that's hybrid publishing. And more authors are going hybrid these days than ever before. This is to self-publish some series and go to traditional for others. It's about flexibility, and honestly, it's becoming the smartest way to play the game. So what lessons have I learned from one epic year? Choosing to go indie with my trilogy, it taught me a few hard truths. It's not easier, it's just a different kind of work. Professionalism isn't an option. Your book has to look like it came from a big house, or readers just won't touch it. But the freedom, that's fucking priceless. No gatekeepers, no waiting, no fucking about, no compromises. So which one is right for you? Well, there's no universal answer. Both have their trade-offs. Traditional publishing offers prestige and advances, but it takes away your control and your speed. Self-publishing offers independence and profit, but requires a lot of upfront investment and a very steep learning curve. So ask yourself, do you value independence? Do you want to wait years or publish this year? Do I value prestige or profit? For me, self-publishing was the right call. For you, it could be something completely different. But whatever you choose, just remember, it's the book and the persistence behind it that matters most. Your book deserves the right home, and so do you.